Hello, YouTube. This is Beverly, and I'm back again with another chapter snippet from my soon to be blockbuster novel, Gezebel. Well, we have made it, or rather, I have made it to chapter 33 of my wonderful book. And once again, it's such an honor and it's such a pleasure to bring this work of art with you. Now, I'm not, tooting my own horn here. I'm just telling you because it really is a work of art. And I'm happy to share it with you because, as a writer, it's so nice when you can bring something to life, not just the characters, but the environment, the the home, and you can just really paint the picture of what you want to put across to readers. That's the beauty of it. So I just love it because, like I said, writing is just a talent I've always had, and it's just really wonderful to bring it to you and to bring it to you this way in little bits and pieces. But you'll have to get the book in order to fit it all together, because right now the way I've done this is like a jigsaw puzzle. And I may read something and you may think, oh, I know what's going to happen next. You will never know what's going to happen next in my book, because one thing I don't like to be is predictable. And I like to be a little off the beaten path at times. Makes life more interesting. So let's get down to chapter 33. In 2001, Gezebel arrived in New York. She was greeted by tumultuous gray skies on a humid summer day. The limousine cruised through the busy streets of Manhattan and jostled for position with yellow cabbies and buses. Anybody who's been to New York City, you know how the traffic is. It's just a city with a heart beats all of its own, isn't it? Diverse throngs of people were out and about, enjoying the rain and walking the waterlogged streets. The vehicle sped over potholes of water. You know, those New York City potholes in Manhattan. You've got potholes. Sometimes they're like, and when you drive in the city in Manhattan, your car is doing one of these things, because you go in a pothole and you go over the pothole and in a pothole, Anybody who's driven through Manhattan, you know what I'm talking about. But it gives the city its character, right? The vehicle sped over potholes of water filled to the brim by the torrential downpour and splashed passers-by who walked or stood close to the pavement. They were angered by the splash of cold water that drenched their clothes. Some cussed and others angrily stuck their middle finger at the limousine. Moving right along. Now, this chapter, I'm going to stop right here, is so filled with detailed descriptions of this palatial place that Gezebel has now arrived to. So it's really good because to just get the book. Moving right along anyway. Where should I start? Okay. Gezebel was ushered into the foyer of the elegant home as the skies crackled ominously with thunder and lightning. Gray clouds blanketed the atmosphere and darkened what would otherwise be a bright and cheerful day. Outdoors resembled late evening instead of early afternoon, and dampened Gezebel's spirits. A uniformed housekeeper greeted the couple as they entered through heavy oak doors. They entered a foyer, with medallion-style tiles that piqued Gezebel's interest. Jack introduced the housekeeper to Gezebel. He explained that Inez, the housekeeper, hailed from the Dominican Republic, and she took care of anything that was related to the household. Inez directed the chauffeur as to where the luggage should be placed, while Jack gave Gezebel a tour of his grand home. He led Gezebel down a stairway located to the left of the foyer, and entered the lower quarter of the townhome. They entered a black and white ceramic tile kitchen loaded with professional grade appliances and black granite countertops. A huge stone island stood in the center of the kitchen, surrounded by four wrought iron stools with cushioned seats. There was a set of doors that separated the kitchen from the other half of the lower level, and Jack opened them. He walked down a marble hallway, and it opened up into a beautifully decorated studio apartment with carpets the color of a vanilla milkshake. Jack informed Gezebel that this was where Inez lived. They returned to the first level of the stately home and passed the foyer to gain access to a magnificent white marble room that resembled a ballroom. This was where Jack entertained guests. Gezebel walked into the room and was awed by the two 24 Swarovski crystal chandeliers from the Schonbeck Trelane collection. Interesting artwork collected by Jack over the years adorned the walls of this dazzling showroom. Artifacts and statues collected from his travels abroad stood in unassuming positions at either side of the windows or in the corners of the room. A fireplace of white marble surrounds commanded the attention of guests, and elegant chairs were strategically placed in the wide open space, leaving lots of room for guests to dance and enjoy themselves. Gezebel walked through an archway and entered a formal dining room with a wooden trestle table that seated 8. It was complemented by leather back chairs, a buffet, a hutch, and a sideboard. They walked back to the foyer and headed up the grand staircase. Jack stopped in the second level and explained that the 2 apartments on this floor were used to accommodate guests. There was a 1-bedroom apartment with a cozy study and a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Both were elegantly furnished and equipped with full kitchen facilities because Jack preferred for guests to have their own space instead of having to share his private quarters. He continued up the staircase to the 3rd level of the home. This floor had a more relaxed feel with deep green hardwood floors and carpeted hall. Jack punched a security code into a panel attached to the wall and entered the private penthouse. Gezebel gasped at the white lacquered spiral staircase in the penthouse apartment. The lower level of the penthouse apartment contained living and dining areas, a study, and a private terrace that overlooked treetops in the distance. An onyx-colored baby grand piano was placed near one of the windows in the living area, and this, along with the remarkably high ceilings, gave the room a relaxed contemporary feel. Jack promised to teach Gezebel to play in his spare time, and she was ecstatic at the opportunity to learn. Plush wall-to-wall carpets lined the floors of the penthouse, and Gezebel's toes sank into the luxuriant fibers as if it were quicksand. A rustic leather sectional snaked around the living area as if it were still in a retailer's showroom and teased Gezebel's tired body with its rich leather. Gezebel trailed Jack up the spiral staircase and gaped at the 2 master bedroom suites with marble Roman-style tubs. The bedrooms lacked not in terms of furnishings, style, and ambience. White roses were placed in the vases atop the stone fireplace mantels in the bedrooms, and reminded Gezebel of her Aunt Bella, who loved having fresh-picked flowers in her home. Gezebel was overcome with emotion and choked back sobs. Jack drew the drapes over the windows in the bedrooms to block out the wretched damp and darkness that hovered outside. He noticed a tormented expression on Gezebel's face, and his heart went out to her. Just when Gezebel thought the grand tour was over, Jack had one more surprise in store. They exited the penthouse and went up another set of stairs located in the hall. Jack entered a security code into another panel on the wall and pushed open a steel door. Gezebel's breath was taken away by the enclosed rooftop swimming pool, jacuzzi, and sun deck. Surrounded enclosed swimming area were rooftop gardens in full bloom. Gezebel had never seen anything like this before, and it blew her mind. Jack, the trip to New York, this house, was overwhelming and almost surreal. Gezebel's head was spinning from all the excitement, and Jack suggested they return to the penthouse for a bite to eat. Instead of taking the stairs leading down to the penthouse, Jack pressed a button in the wall close to the stairwell, and doors opened up to reveal an elevator. This was too much. He chuckled at the stunned expression on Gezebel's face and explained that the elevator worked on all floors, so there was no need to take the stairs unless you wanted to. They rode the elevator to the third floor and ventured back to the penthouse. Well, I'm going to leave it right there for that chapter, and I will see you in the next. Stay tuned, and don't forget to get your copy of Gezebel today. Bye.